Hi there and welcome to Simon Anderson Photography. If you saw my last video, it was me unboxing my new Godox X Pro trigger. Whilst reading out the spec sheet where I was sharing some information with you guys, there's a few things that perked my interest, and one of them was stroboscopic photography, which I've never heard before, but I've seen some of the pictures online involving this type of photography, but I never knew what it was called and I've never tried it myself until last night. So what I did is I went out to a local basketball court, taking my Godox X Pro trigger and combined it with my Godox TT600 flash gun, which is also brand new, and try and something a bit creative and fun. Basically, I've seen these sort of pictures done by people like Carl Taylor and other photographers, where you get a flash gun that emits a certain amount of flashes that you set during one exposure. So let's say you're running across a picture, so you go and the flash goes bang 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 as you're running across it. You'd have multiple pictures of you running across the scene basically. But I wanted to, knock it up a notch and be a bit more creative and try something that I don't think I've seen before, and that's a longer exposure picture combined with stroboscopic flash photography. And what I mean is, we all seen long exposure pictures with people moving along slowly and they look like a ghostly figure moving along the picture, or stroboscopic where there's multiple shots of somebody in the picture as well. So what I've done is I went to a local basketball court and I set up some video lights, my camera and a flash gun. I set my camera to a long exposure of around 5 seconds. As I'm walking into the picture as a basketball player, I was dressed up in some basketball gear with my basketball. As I was walking in front of the video lights, as the long exposure started, I was a ghostly trail. But then as I jumped to dunk the basketball, with my son fired the flash gun for me, and it emitted about 5 flashes. So it's got me ghostly trail going along, and then pop 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 pop, me jumping up in different sections up to the basketball hoop, and we've got some really cool shots I'm really pleased with, because I really didn't understand this type of photography fully, so it was a bit hit and miss, and basically just practicing as well. So the first thing I had to do was find out how to set it up on my trigger, and if like me you've used manual flash guns or flash guns for quite a while and you scroll through the modes, there's one called multi, which I thought was some fancy name for some new technology to fire multiple flash guns, but it wasn't. It was to do with stroboscopic photography or flash, to fire a certain amount of flashes during an exposure. So here I've got my, let's have a look, there we go, there's the X Pro trigger. Let's turn this bad boy on, and there's the screen there, as you can see. As you can see, the top figure, that I've got that one, these are my settings from last night. It was 1/8 power, so the top one is your power, which goes from 1/1 to 1/28 depending on your trigger and flash guns. The second one down is the times. I've got that set to 8 times. That's the maximum amount of flashes that the flash gun will emit, so it only flash 8 times. And then the bottom one is in hertz, and it's 5 hertz, and that's how many times the flash will fire in a second. So that will flash 5 times in 1 second, and then 8 times, so it flash, I presume, 8 times fully. So in 1 second it'll flash 5 times, and then 3 times after that, because 8 is the maximum. I didn't understand this properly last night. I was just messing around with the numbers. What you do is, the more times you want to use the flash, so the more times you're emitting the flash, the lower the power has to be. So you can't flash perhaps 10 times at full power. So if you want to do that, you might have to go to 1/4 power or 1/8 or 1/16 power, or the more flashes, the lower the power setting, and then you have to adjust your settings on the fly to compensate for everything. So anyway, I've made a video last night. The quality is not very good, and I apologise for the sound as well, because we got there, it's pitch black when we filmed it. I didn't set up the audio properly as well, because it started raining I set up all my video lights and everything, and it started raining on all my gear, and it got a bit soaked, and I was a bit worried. I was about to pack away, but the rain stopped, so I quickly filmed a video of me doing this shot with my gear set up, and yeah, so we'll play that now. You have a little look at that. It's about 4 minutes long, and then we'll come back afterwards, and then maybe put the pictures into Photoshop, and then I'll show you how I edit them together. So yeah, stay tuned. Hi there, welcome to Simon Anderson Photography, and today I'm at my local basketball court late at night. It was just raining a minute ago, and stuff got soaked, but it's stopped now, so I'll continue my video. I've just got some new gears from Godox. I've got the X Pro trigger and some TT600 flash guns, and I wanted to try them out, and also I wanted to be a bit creative and try something different, and that's combined long exposure photography with stroboscopic photography. So that's where a flash goes off multiple times and you get multiple images in the same shot of a moving object. So basically here I am, we've got the basketball hoop. I've got a TT600 from Godox on a light stand with the PB960 battery pack from Godox, which is one of the best battery packs. It's amazing, and that's just to keep the flash gun continually going to multiple flashes, make sure I've got enough power. I've got my Nikon D7100 with a Tamron 15-30 wide angle lens, so I can get the basketball caught in and the action I'm doing. And I've got two video lights. One I'm using to film me at the moment so you can see me, which is a 300 LED light. I think something like Yongyo, something like that, or newer. And I've got a 160 LED light as well. Now what I've done is I set the two lights, when I stop filming, I put the two lights together, one at the end of the court there and one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the end of the court with the basketball. We've got an exposure of 5 seconds, shooting at f7.1 ISO 100 for the stills. So what I'm going to do is my son's going to actually take the shot for me. I'm going to say now, he's going to press the shutter button, and then I'm going to walk slowly across, so I'm going to get that ghostly effect from the long exposure. Also, what he's going to do is hold in his other hand is the X Pro trigger, because we're doing it fully manual, so you can't use rear curtain sync for stroboscopic photography. So what he's going to do is when I get to the toolbox there, because I'm going to use that to jump off of, as soon as I reach that and jump, he's going to press and hold down the test button, and it's going to fire off the flashes, multiple flashes, which I'm not sure what I've got set to. It's probably about 5 or 6 or 7 flashes at the moment. That's set at 8th power, which is the strongest power I could get for how many flashes I want. And then when I jump up, it's going to go pop, 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 and it's going to capture me jumping up in different stages there. So I haven't really seen this before, or a lot of it, of the long exposure and stroboscopic. So I've given it a try. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly do it now, show you how it's done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back home, and then I'm going to just run through the settings again and stuff, make sure I've got all the information right, and then pop it into Photoshop and show you how I process it. Also, what I'm going to do is I've photographed the hoop separate with flash gun and have illuminated it different ways, so I can combine that in Photoshop and also take the toolbox out of the scene and then do another photograph so I can eliminate that as well. So what you're seeing is me just a ghostly streak running across, jumping up like I'm jumping really high like a real basketball player, and then you see the final shot, and that's basically how you do it. So what I do is show you how it's done and then onto the computer. So let's go. Just going to put this video light back in place, which is around here. So there's the video light. You ready, Stephen? Just give the flash a test. Right, that's it. Right, now. Now go. Right, that's it. Let's go home. See you in a sec. See you. Right, so here I am in Adobe Bridge, and as you can see, here's the shots I took last night. Starting from the beginning was just practice shots, getting all my settings right and having a go. And as you can see, as I'm scrolling down, it's improving with each shot as well. As you can see, there's different effects with different settings on the trigger as well. So I've also taken some shots without the toolbox in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose 2 shots. So I'm just going to choose these 2. This one's got more basketball in. I'll just try that one. Let's get rid of that. I'm just going to choose these 2, and then I'm just going to open Camera Raw together. And the reason I'm going to do that is so when I adjust the settings, they're going to be exactly the same. So select them both, or you can go to the top there and select all. So when I do settings, it's going to adjust the settings to both of these shots. The first thing I'm going to do is lens correction for both of them. Just boost contrast a little bit, bring the highlights down a little bit, lift them shadows up a little bit more, boost the whites, bring the blacks down, let's boost that clarity up a bit. It's nice, bit of vibrance, a bit of saturation. Let's try the auto, see what that's done there. Just give it a little bit. It's at night, but I'm just going to boost the temperature up a bit to give it a bit more warmth as well. And that's pretty much it really. Open the copies, and we're just going to bring them into Photoshop. So these are both in Photoshop. I'm going to use that as my base image. What I'm going to do is select all, and I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to paste it on top of this image. I'm just going to add a layer, and then Control I, and just invert the layer to black. And then I'm just going to press B from a brush tool and enlarge the size, and then we'll just see how this looks. I'm going to X to change to white. We can press the little square here on the left. I'm just going to paint this out a little bit. Now, yeah, that don't look too good there, does it? So, you know, I might have to just paint around this a little bit. I'm just going to rush this a little bit so you can see what's going on. So there we go. Zoom in a bit. I'm just going to make just this bit of paving the same colour. Just go around there. You know, you spend as much time as you want to do this, and there are different ways of doing it. I'm just going to show you a quick way. And that, and then let's have a look now. Let's do it up there. It looks. There we go. Just paint this. I'm just going to make it matching. So there we go. Done that. That'd be good enough. Now I'm just going to flatten that image. Drag this down to make another copy. Just need to get rid of this square. Various ways of doing it. Let's just try press S for the clone tool, enlarge that, and then make it smaller again. Just I've done it on a low opacity. No, that don't look too good, does it? Tool, so I'll just get rid of that. So let's try the patch tool. What we'll do is just make a ring around it, and then let's go there, select, deselect. No, that's not it either. You can try different areas just to, there we go. that's not ideal really, so I'll go back to the clone tool. Anyway, you can spend as long as you want doing this. So you can spend loads of time doing it. So, but that's just a quick version. You know, then we can press J for the clone patch tool or spot healing brush, and just you can just tidy up some of the leaves as well. So this is just a quick rush edit and show you how easy it is to do. You can just tidy up all the little bits and pieces, the leaves, things like that. Just, you know, spot healing brush does a really good job. Just going to get rid of this because it might be distracting in the picture. Zoom out. Just leave that in at the moment. So yeah, that's basically it. Let's just flatten that again. You know, could just give it a little S curve just to make it pop a little bit more. And also what I've done is I've taken a few separate shots just illuminating the basketball hoop. I can bring them in and illuminate that as well, but I won't show you that now. I'll show you, I'll show you the final pictures as well. But what I'm going to do is select all, press Control T for the transform tool, edit, and I'm just going to do the warp tool, and I'm just going to try and straighten this hoop up a little bit, spend a bit of time, and then just bring that fence down there a little bit. There we go. Deselect, so that's all straightened as well. Also, there's so much you can do, just adjustments, shadow and highlights. You can just bring that tone for the detail back. You know, you could just boost the shadows a bit as well. There we go. Do that. I'm just doing this really quickly. I'm just going to do filter and a high pass filter. Sorry, I've got that set. What I always set at 1.5, and then hard light as well. So you can see the detail there. And there's so much you can do. You can dodge and burn as well. You know, you can do so much with this image just quickly. You can see the basketballs now from the stroboscopic effect. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there was about 7 possible flashes that went off at that time. So there we go. This is the long, from left to right is the long exposure from the video lights. The video lights illuminating me. The middle black bit here, really I needed a white top or a bright top to have something there. The black top means it wasn't showing up, but this is the only basketball gear I had. So there's me jumping off the toolbox, and then trying to dunk the basketball and jumping back down again, and then there's the final image. Right, so there we go. I hope you liked the video, the final results. I know I'm definitely pleased with something that was experimental and a decision that was made last minute to go out and give this a try. It just shows you what's capable with a cheap flash gun and a cheapish trigger. You know, they're definitely good quality. When I say cheaper, it's just basically in price, and they do the job. It's fun to do. And also it just gives you a bit of some vision of what you can do with other things. It's not just basketball, you can do this for other sports as well, you know, baseball, cricket, anything like that. You know, use the stroboscopic effect. I learned a lot from it. Also, you know, things like if you editing out the toolbox, because it was raining, there was patches there and the light, it was quite hard to obviously Photoshop that out. But if you know somebody who's a real basketball player and who can jump really high, you can do it in one go, and there's virtually no Photoshop needed at all. But unfortunately, due to my age, I needed the toolbox or something to jump on to jump and get the height for trying to dunk the basketball. Another thing I learned is the orange lid was quite bright. If I put a black cloth over it or something dark, if it had a dark lid, then that might have made life easier as well. But these are all things, you know, that's what it's about. It's about experimentation and having a go. So make sure you get out there and give it a try. Also, if you like this video, you know, just don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe. If I've got any links or anything like that, I'll put them in the description down below. Also, if you've got any questions, put them below as well, and I'll try and answer them as best as I can. And also, don't forget to click the notification bell for future uploads, because I'll be doing some more videos very soon, including high-speed sync, which I'm just about to try as well. So make sure, click that subscribe, and come back soon. So I'll see you later.